is it's like it's like getting ready to compete for a fight, but without the fight. All the media requests, all that. But I love it. I'm used to it. I did it for 20 years, so it's like the smoothest of transitions.
Yeah, it's the best when you don't have to cut weight and don't have to take punches, right?
And worried about punches, and I'm like, you're like somebody's asking you questions, but you're so deep in thought, like, oh, I'm gonna do this if they do that. So it's like moments where you don't want to talk. You just want to be like to yourself. But now it's different. I want to talk. I want to talk about these fighters.
Hmm. Yeah, that's cool, man. Like I spoke to you a few months back in Los Angeles. You were putting on that card where Doom against Junior Dos Santos. You're returning November 10th. Bare knuckle MMA in Biloxi, Mississippi. Big country Roy Nelson versus Alan Belcher. Man, that's one dude I would never ever want to fight in a bare knuckle fight. Is Roy Nelson, man? That guy's such an anomaly.
That is the worst guy to run into a bar and piss him off. Like,
Yeah.
you're serious, man. That dude, listen, he fought Dylan Kleger that can crack. Dylan Kleger has 10 knockouts as an amateur, 10 knockouts as a pro. He's got these fucking like mutated hands. They're fucking massive. They get into a brawl. I was there cage side watching. He teed off on fucking Roy's face, right? And the fight happened, whatever. And I'm backstage with Roy hanging out, and I'm looking at him. This guy didn't even have a black eye. Nothing wrong with his face. Like if he just went swimming or something, it's crazy. Like he's built for that. He's built to fucking take pain and give out a lot more of it. And that fucking right hand of his is dynamite, as everybody knows. And he's fighting Belcher that can fucking box, move his head, keeps his hands up, in and out, and then he'll once Belcher figures the guys out, then he's just steady pressure. That's when this fight is gonna just become fight of the night, because they're both gonna like feel each other out, and at some point just lock horns, and they're both the same type of guy. They're going for the fucking KO. That's why I'm most excited about this event, this fight in particular, than any other fighter event that we've had. And not to diss any of them because they were all the amazing, but the level of excitement for this one is through the roof.
Yeah, and I would think this one, style wise, they are going to engage because I know what the Dos Santos where Doom won, where Doom was a little hesitant given the power of Dos Santos
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the cut that he got too.
yeah. And then I think JDS was also a little hesitant over Doom's takedowns or the grappling. He didn't want
Yeah.
to go to the ground. So he was a little bit shy on maybe like kicking and just opening up his hips a little bit more. He used a lot of his lead hand, and he just kept them at distance and just peck it away with the jab, and he flicked his face up. But it definitely wasn't the most action packed of main events that we've had.
Yeah, you still had like over 100,000 people on your live stream, man. I was one of them watching. It was nuts, man. But
At one point, and then when the live stream finished and the views got calculated, we were right under 1 million. So we're trying to get to like 5 million this time. It's free on YouTube, everybody. No excuses. Come on.
yeah,
Free,
going back
free.
to Roy Nelson, man, it's always like just boggled my mind how like a guy can look like that, like he's fat but has cardio and is so conditioned for fights. It's still I can't comprehend it.
Fighting. There's
Yeah.
not mold. There's not like the guy with the 50 pack and tall as can be and crazy fast at sprinting, can jump over houses. You put the gloves on him, put him in there and he gets mopped up. He gets killed. He's fragile. He gets touched to the body. He's weak. It's just not fighting's not for everybody. It's here and it's here, and then you could be whatever, and it's just fighting, man. I've seen fat guys that can fucking fight. I've seen skinny guys that can fight. There's nothing, bro. The moment you think, oh, this guy looks like this, so she's that, you fucked up in fighting, man. You can't underestimate anyone in the sport, man. And Roy's living proof of that. You look at him and go, this dude versus that. No way. That other guy's got like a six pack and he's 6'4". He's gonna get mopped up. Boom, here comes Roy. So I love it, man, because that's what fighting is, bro. And Roy knows it, and Roy plays to it like nobody else, and I fucking love it, bro. I stand behind Roy's brand and himself and his fighting style 100%. I love it, man.
Yeah, that's so true, man. Because I remember on the Ultimate Fighter when Roy fought Kimbo, and I was so going for Kimbo, man. And I hadn't really heard of Roy at that point, and I was like, no, wait, man, Kimbo's gonna mop this dude. Like, look at this guy. He's like out of shape.
Yeah, perfect example, and then Roy just gets the job done. He's not the fighter's mold in many ways. But to me, if it's working, let's go. Fucking maybe he's not as a promoter. Other promoters might be like, oh, but he's not the best for TV, this and that. Bro, if you're winning, you're knocking these motherfuckers dead. Do whatever you're doing. I don't know what the fuck you're doing, but keep doing it, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Just keep knocking motherfuckers dead. That's my job for you to knock them dead.
But have you seen their hands after though these fights?
Roy was like nothing. I'm telling you, this guy's like skeletons made of titanium. He did not have a fucking black eye, bare knuckle, pro
Yeah,
fighter with heat, fucking cracked him up like 4 times in the face, 5 solid, like not a dent, nothing. What the fuck? The worst guy to get in a fucking bar fight
yeah,
with.
I know. But
If you
I've seen some of
funny
the
guy,
guys though. Some of the guys, their hands are like ballooned up. It's crazy.
a little bit, yeah, yeah. Some, yeah,
Yeah,
like nothing
yeah, no, yeah. Like I mentioned, like Roy's just
different.
he should have been born 100 years ago. Like Roy's a different mold of person. That's for sure, man.
Nuts.
That's for sure. Hey, no, Jorge, I got to ask you, bro. Over the weekend, man, Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou, Ngannou representing MMA. He did so well, man. What were your thoughts overall of the fight?
First, I want to say, damn, that I was one of the guys that think he wouldn't get past it. That he made it 12 rounds. People don't understand the monument that that in itself is. To go 12 rounds with the lineal heavyweight champion of the world, Tyson Fury, in a new sport, in a sport that he's never done, not even one fight, and then no, it was straight to that. That he could just even get to like 5, 6 rounds is a monument. That he got to 12 with the world champion, taking away that he dropped him, taking away that he hurt him to the body, taking away that he walked him down numerous times. He had the champion on his back foot, and to me, Francis won, on a moral level, on the street level, on many levels. The judges didn't give it to him, but so what? What credibility is that? Judging in boxing has always been very shady, as we know. And I don't think Ngannou lost in any way. Like nobody is looking at that fight and saying he can't box because he could box, man. He could do it. He has the endurance, which was the main thing that was worrying me. I was like, it's a different sport, it's a different cardio base. I don't think he's gonna be able to go 8 with the greatest of all time right now. And he did it just fine. What will happen in 6 months? At the same time, I think Tyson seen this happen in his face for 12 rounds, not seeing the video, not knowing what he has to prepare for. I'm more excited than ever for the rematch because Tyson is one of the greatest of all times. He can make those adjustments. He can make those small, minute things and make it look completely different. I think on the next one. So I'm very, very excited to see the rematch if it happens.
Yeah, it was surprising, that's for sure. Sitting there ringside, I think a lot of us were just like, what the hell? Especially when the knockdown happened. When the knockdown happened, we're just like, what? Like, wow.
Power is unreal. This guy's lab experiment at this point. Man, it's great. You just got into boxing. What? Nuts. Nuts.
You watching at home, how did you score it, Jorge? How many rounds did you give Francis with the extra point of the knockdown in that fourth round?
Man, I'd have to see it like live. At the time, there was like people when I was scoring rounds. I remember just at the time like a couple rounds here, a couple rounds there. I'd have to watch it back to know the exact numbers that I gave out. But I just remember thinking like, man, these close rounds that I don't know if Francis won them or Tyson. I know they're gonna give it to Tyson. And there was a lot of rounds I also thought that Ngannou kind of won like pretty clear and obviously the knockdown. But there was a lot of rounds too that were swing rounds, so I knew it was gonna be a funky one.
Wow. Okay. Given that, then, you already mentioned rematch, but people are saying that he got robbed. Do you think it was a close fight, or do you think it was clear that Francis won that fight?
I could see Francis winning that fight clear. If they would have gave a unanimous decision, I wouldn't have been mad because I thought he did more damage. I thought he did have more clear rounds that I'm like, yeah, I think he definitely won this one. As in, there was a lot of swing bouts that I was like, yeah, I think he won this one. Maybe Tyson won it. Tyson didn't have a lot of those rounds where I was like, oh, Tyson definitely won this round. So I wouldn't have been. I would have been fucking hell yeah. Who finally got one. No, you got to think about the establishment, and everything. He's 50-0 in boxing. Or wow, I'm sorry, I don't think that's correct.
He's undefeated, I believe.
Undefeated.
This counted. I didn't know this was a real fight that was going to count on the actual pro records. It was a 10 round. I thought it was a 10 round exhibition, but I guess it was a 10 round sanctioned fight. He goes now to 34-0.
Yeah. Okay. So he goes to 34-0. They're not gonna do that to their biggest boxing draw. They're not gonna give him a loss to a guy that's never boxed before, and then we're gonna kill off our horse here and our one of our biggest ticket sellers. They weren't gonna give him that loss, even if Francis had done even more. I think.
So there's a lot of contention with this. You know, a lot of people are saying, "Yo, like." I would say a lot of boxing people are saying, you know, this was an off night for Tyson Fury. That wasn't the real Tyson Fury. Others are saying like, no, bro, like Francis exposed this guy. MMA fighters can compete against these boxers. They can do that. You know, which do you fall into, Jorge, if any?
Um, I fall into the notion that MMA fighters are just different, man. We generate the power different. We strike at different ranges. We understand different things. Yeah, we don't fully understand boxing to an extent in some degrees how another boxer would in certain areas or how how they generate their power and release it, but in all fairness, so it's still combat. You still have to get in and fight. Whoever's more disciplined, whoever wants it more, even if I'm throwing wrong, but it's just throwing you off, like I'm throwing my punch right, and you never saw it in sparring, and now it's the first time you're seeing this freaking coming at you, and it's coming at you often. And now when you try to do that, as we saw with Ngannou, Tyson tries to lean on Ngannou, not happening. You can't lean on us. You're not going to beat us on the outside. We'll tie you up or we'll beat you up in the inside. So now you're on your bike, you're starting to move more, you have to run more. Maybe that gets your adrenaline up more. You're getting tired. I mean, it's not easy to box with MMA guy. Now, most times than not, the boxer should win because they box all the time. So I would always lean towards the boxer winning in boxing. But there's gonna be guys that are gonna come through and make fucking crazy shit happen because there's a lot of raw athletes in MMA that are mean, athletic, sons of bitches that are not gonna fucking take no for an answer, and they're gonna cause people problems in fucking boxing. I'm one of them, and a lot of my brothers and sisters coming over from MMA are gonna be fucking nightmares with those boxing gloves.
Mm.
The thing that's always gonna worry me a little bit is that there is a bit of a transition as well in cardio. It's a different cardio than not everybody's gonna be doing. You could be a world champion in UFC and your background was grappling. So when you get into boxing, only you ain't shit. You can't produce no power. You got no fucking endurance. And therefore you can't box. But there's a lot of guys that can fucking make a smooth transition over.
I would imagine you're one of them, man. You just alluded to it.
To me, for a fact, Max Holloway. I would love to see Max Holloway boxing. Dustin Poirier. Love to see Dustin just fucking straight boxing it out. There's a lot of cats out there that are fucking mean when they could do it.
Sean Strickland, I think would do well too.
Sean Strickland would do well. Yeah, Sean, I would like to see Sean.
Yeah, man. Sean has such a weird style for MMA, right? Like usually you don't have this exposed because of head kicks, but somehow he's found a way to make it work.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at Jorge, the Francis and Fury fallout, do you want to see a rematch, or do you want to see Francis now go against like an AJ, a Deontay Wilder to kind of show like, he could do the same thing to Fury to these guys?
I want to see him literally fight everybody.
Yeah.
That's yeah. Just like obviously him pick his fights that he feels are the best for him at that moment in time. But why not have him fight Andy Ruiz? Why not have him fight Anthony Joshua? Why not have him fight fucking Deontay Wilder? Like I'm fucking if this fight didn't sell it to you, I mean, and each one of those fights is a complete different fighter, complete different style, and it'd be good to see fucking also Ngannou cash out like that.
Yeah, especially after all the criticism that he got, and people saying that he messed up, he made like the worst career decision by leaving, by wanting to be a free agent. Like, what are you doing fighting Tyson Fury? You're gonna get killed in there. You're not even gonna last a round or two. He's made it work, man. He's a hell of a story, that guy.
Yeah, I mean, nuts, bro. UFC champion to like 1 degree, 1 inch away from beating the world champion, in boxing.
In his first fight, in his debut. That's the crazy part.
Sounds mythological, like you're talking about some Greek gods that came down.
I don't know. It's still a hard thing for me to wrap my mind around, because like Tyson Fury has been fighting his whole entire life, and Ngannou hasn't been boxing his whole life. He's been training, but he's not a pro boxer. And he went in there with the #1 heavyweight in boxing and did what he did. It's
But sometimes in fighting, just like in sports, the number 1 tennis player will not lose to the 1 through 100, but there's 117th has like this weird, funky, jerky style, and somehow manages to beat the world champion tennis player. It's the same thing in fighting. Obviously Ngannou's not the 120th player. He's an elite level athlete in UFC. So I mean, it's just fucking it's mind blowing, bro.
Yeah, it is. No, it totally is, man. I know last time
That
was
left
it,
hook had a little bit more heat on it. Tyson, I don't think gets up, but the way that he got up, he was like hurt. He was also another. He could have just got knocked out right there.
yeah, there was a few times in that fight where I kind of noticed that he was a little bit hurt too. I think like in the sixth or seventh round, Ngannou caught him with something, and I kind of saw like his legs do like a little, like they got a little weak, and I was like, oh dang, like he stunned him again. Yeah. I know last time I spoke with you in Hollywood, Jorge, I'd asked you like, hey, is there any chance you're going to come back? There's still a lot of big fights out there for you that you can make a lot of money. And you're like, no, I enjoy being retired. Um, is that still the case, or is the fire starting to grow again in the belly after seeing what Francis Ngannou did?
Uh, right now, promote, man. Like November 10th, I got so much on this writing on it that I always have the fire to compete, and I deal with that fire by going to the gym twice a day, once a day, twice a day, once a day. Now, I'll never say I'm not gonna compete, but as of right now, make these promotions pop, man, because this is where all my time and energy is really at, just grinding these out, making sure that we got the meanest, best fucking fighters on the world competing for us, putting it all on the line, and then delivering a great product for everybody to see.
But you wouldn't rule it out like a return to MMA, right?
Now to MMA, I would do that later in the future. I did it for 20 years, man. It's like let me try something new. As stubborn as I am, and as much as I love MMA, it's like let me try something new for a little bit, and then I'll see what's up. Maybe I'll come back to it.
Mm. Yeah, man. You were always a guy that was a fan favorite, but I don't know, man. I just felt that, maybe you're just grinding a little too long and you just needed a break to kind of refresh, given the circumstances of the losses that you had, especially the late notice one to Usman. I don't know, just me observing from the outside, it's like, I think Jorge just needs a break.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you, brother. Not just like a mental thing, but like a physical thing. I got a lot of injuries that I've had for some of them for like 10 years. I've had the same fucking injury, and it adds up, So maybe my body with a good break, staying healthy though, because I stay at the gym all the time, just a different grind. I'm not shaving the metal down every day. I'm not wrestling balls out in the morning and fucking going balls out at pads at night. So it's a little bit different. I'm staying fit. I'm staying in shape. So a lot could happen. I'll never rule it out because my favorite thing to do in this world still is good old fashioned MMA ass whooping, bro. Just getting there, that mouthpiece on, hands up, let's go. It's the funnest dance I've ever danced.
Hmm. Uh, Curious too. With Usman losing, I know he took that fight on very short notice. It's kind of like a similar situation to you when you fought against him, but he's kind of questioning himself now. And even, I had a chance to speak to him in Saudi Arabia. And he was like, well, yeah, I dropped three in a row. And I told him like, hey, I think you're a little too hard on yourself, man. Like these are
Yeah.
just circumstances you can't control. But what would you say to him or anybody in that position, Jorge?
What would I say to Usman in particular is that he has evolved as a fighter so much. And from when I saw him, and I was like, I'm not worried about this guy's hands at all, to what he's been able to do now, And he was winning that fight with Leon. Then he got dropped in, and the second one that they had, a lot of people thought he won it as well. So it's like interesting. And then this one with Chimaev, yeah, he lost round one, but two and three were like though Chimaev still won him. It showed in 11 days notice he did that. In my opinion, since I've always thought, in 5 weeks notice, Usman will beat the brakes out of Chimaev. He stops him. I think he just stops him. This is Chimaev full blast, getting ready for the fight of his life against Paulo Costa. Now you get a guy to step in 11 days notice. It's a weight class below, and you don't fucking go after the finish like you did one round, and then that's it. You took off two more, ran from Usman up 30 seconds left, quick takedown, like cheap version of fighting. I don't think Chimaev will be top five even worthy. There's a lot of top five guys that'll beat the brakes at him. He'll get tired and they'll put the pressure on him. And at 70, he was saying that he was cutting a lot of weight. Well, what's the excuse at 85? Just get to it. You can't just take the gas pedal off and not provide entertainment. We're here trying to see who the world's best are. Usman was bringing the fight to him on 11 days notice. So if I was Usman, I'd be like, man, the fuck is wrong with me? Let me get right back in there. Let me get a good 10 weeks to prepare for whoever the fuck is next. And that guy will be back, man.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to listen to it and think about this and not be so hard on himself, given the circumstances with that. Just on a final note, Jorge, I got to ask you, I was there just talking to people, and I heard, and let me know if this is accurate or not, that maybe you and Jake Paul would be tussling in the future. Is that accurate at all? Nah, nah, not at all.
Clickbait people, they got your ass, bro. They clickbait you trying to act like somebody from the inside told me, nah, they got your ass on clickbait, man. What are you talking about? I
That's
got
a big
someone in the
fight, though.
service. Is it? I mean, I don't fucking know. You know, I sell pay-per-views. I'm a big fight. So whoever I fight is gonna sell pay-per-views. What did the last one do? What did the one before him do? You know, he's not a massive ticket draw to me. You know, he's just
Mm.
not. You know?
What happens? I'm just curious from what you saw in that Tommy Fury fight and the Nate Diaz fight. What happens with you and him?
I'd rather show you with my hands, bro, but I would bust that dude up, you know.
Mm.
I like the kid and all, he's cool, you know, I got no problems with him, but on a boxing, if we're gonna box, I'm gonna try to rip his fucking head off, and I know I'll get the job done, you know, just based off like conditioning and like grit and stuff, and the pace that I could keep, I don't think he could handle my pace over a period of time, you know, for 8 rounds. I don't think he can handle that pace.
Mm. Hey,
And
if you guys announce it, I'm hand over fist. I'm gonna give you money, bro. Like I want to see that.
nah, freaking, it's not gonna happen, man.
No, come on, bro.
I'm
Isn't that
telling
easy
you.
money for you?
Yeah, man, but bro, you forget that I have a contract that's fucking taller than you are. I think it's like that with pages, bro. UFC says what I can and can't do, and you know I'm still signed with them. I retired, yes, but it doesn't mean I could just you know go fight for another promotion now or
Yeah.
something. So it's all like on legal terms. Yeah, if I was like a free agent or whatever the fuck, you know. But even then, I'd be after like bigger matches, you know.
Mm. All right, good stuff, Jorge. I'm getting the wrap up right now from your PR people, but hey, it's always good to share time with you and catch up with you, my man. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Hey, my brother.
That is Jorge Masvidal. Check it out, November 10th, bare knuckle MMA in Biloxi, Mississippi. Big Country Roy Nelson taking on Alan Belcher.